Hello everyone and welcome to July. So we are smack dab in the middle of summer and yeah, very excited for July because honestly there's not a lot of new releases that I'm very interested in. So that means I get to pull a lot of books this month from my TBR shelf, which makes me feel very relieved and satisfied. So as always, I have a lot of books I want to read this month because I've noticed summer's a really strong reading season for me. Like summer and fall are really the best reading months for me. I don't know why, they just are. So I think I have like 10 books I want to read this month. Fingers crossed it'll work out. The first three I want to read are mystery thriller books. All three of them are. So I am determined to read a mystery thriller this year that I just love. It has not happened yet. I'm really working on trying to get to like reading a really good one. So the first one I want to read is actually a new release that's coming out this month, and that is The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. He also wrote Final Girls, which I loved, which got released last year. So I'm hoping to like this one. This one I don't know anything about. I don't want to know anything about it because I liked Final Girls so much. I'm afraid if I learn more about it, I'm not gonna love it as much. So I just want to go into this one completely blind. I'm assuming from the title it's about a girl and the last time she lied. Maybe that's coming back to her. I don't know. I'm gonna find out more. Sorry I'm not telling you more about it, but I really don't want to know anything about it until I crack that thing open. The other two mystery thriller books that I want to read, the first one is The Death of Mrs. Westaway by Ruth Ware. If you know, I don't have the best relationship with her books. There hasn't been a book of hers that I've read that I've really enjoyed. I usually just like her books and occasionally I don't like her books. So this is like one of my last ditch efforts. I keep saying that with her books, but I keep coming back for more. This is about a girl named Harriet Westaway who receives a letter in the mail saying that she has been bequeathed like this big mansion when her grandparents died. The only problem is Harriet's grandparent died like 10 years ago, so she knows this letter is not meant for her, but she is not doing so well in her life. She has no money, so she decides, I'm gonna let this thing play out and just go and pretend to be somebody that she is not. And I think things happen from that. As you can tell by the cover, it's a very gothic-y type of book, so very intrigued for that. I have heard good reviews about this book, so here's to hoping this will be the one Ruth Ware novel I read that I'll really enjoy. I really hope so because I want to read a book of hers and love it. I really do. The last mystery book I want to read this month is Something in the Water by Catherine Steadman. It's basically about a couple that goes on a honeymoon in an island and they find something in the water. You don't know what it is. And I've heard the characters are very just horrible and you really hate them because of the decisions that they make. But either way, this was a lot of a cover buy because the cover's so gorgeous. And like, what's in the water? Is it a something? Someone? What's going on? I don't know. With thrillers, you have to go into it not knowing much. I'm very excited to read it. I'm really hoping one of these three I'm going to love and it'll get me really loving thrillers again because this year has not been the best year for that for me. Then I have three YA contemporary books that I really want to get to this month, and a lot of them have been sitting on my shelf for a while. The first one I've been wanting to read ever since I bought it like months ago, and that is Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. I've heard a lot of things about this book and how amazing it is, and I've been wanting to read it, but every month I'm always enamored by new releases. I'm trying to read like the most newest books, and then the books that I am really interested in that I want to read that are on my shelf just keep getting pushed back and pushed back. Not this month, my friend. I'm gonna read this one this month. This is about a girl, I think, and she's really in love with this podcast called Universe City, and it's a message from the people that run Radio Silence and asking if she'll collaborate with them. And she does fan art. So basically it's about them getting together and about a podcast. I don't know. Podcasts, I used to really be into podcasts a while ago, and then I just haven't had the time to listen to them, but I used to love, like season 1 of Serial, amazing. I loved This American Life. I loved another one. I love podcasts, and every time I can read a book about podcasts, I'm down for it. So I cannot wait to read this one. I've heard amazing things about it. Another one that's been on my shelf for a couple of months now, and that is The Way You Make Me Feel by Maureen Gu. This is about a girl that has her summer mapped out for her, and then she gets in trouble, and then she has to work on her dad's food truck. Food trucks as well. I used to be really into the Great American Food Truck Race on the Food Network. Oh, what an amazing show. But, I mean, the thought of like working on a food truck, and I used to work in food service for like 10 years, so I know a lot about it. So very interested in reading this and seeing how she's going to be on this food truck. who knows how it'll play out. Just YA contemporary, maybe it's kind of a fantasy, I don't know. Plain Jane by Brody Ashton, Jody Meadows, and Cynthia Han. This is kind of the sequel spin-off to My Lady Jane, which is one of my favorite books last year. I love that book so much. This is a funny retelling of Jane Eyre, only Jane Eyre is like it's a mystery, and she has to investigate this house and what's going on in it, and it sounds like it's gonna be such a good time. My Lady Jane was so funny, so hilarious, so I'm hoping My Plain Jane will be just the same. I'm even contemplating on listening to this one because so many people said that the audiobook for My Lady Jane was so amazing, so I'm so excited to read this one. Like, I can't wait. The last 3 books are kind of like adult contemporary literary fiction, if you will. The first one is The Lido by Libby Page. This one came out, oh, it's actually coming out this month. I think it's been in the UK for quite some time. And this is being pitched to me, and why I am reading it is it's pitched as a mixture of A Man Called Uwe by Frederick Bachman and a mixture of Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. Both books I really love and adore, so if it's a mixture of those 2 books, I feel like I'm going to fall in love with this book. It's about a girl named Rosemary who is 86 and everything in her life is changing. And I think it's going to be amazing. I think it's going to be one of those heartwarming stories that just makes you smile on repeat. So, so excited to read this one. Another one I think that's been out in the UK for quite some time, but it's just now making its way over to the US, is Dear Mrs. Bird by A.G. Pierce. This one comes out in July, I think, as well. And this one takes place in 1940 in London. And she is deciding to be a secret advice columnist during World War II. So that sounds amazing and awesome, and I've been reading a lot more historical fiction this year. I say a lot. This will be like my 3rd one, so maybe not a lot. Either way, excited to read it. And the last book I want to read is Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. I have read 2 Kristen Hanna books this year, gave them both 5 out of 5, and I'm hoping to continue the trend. I love her writing. This is one of her early ones, I believe. She's written a lot of books, guys. Like, I'm talking about like probably up to 20, and I've just read 2 of them. But I've heard by a lot of people that this is one of their favorite Kristen Hanna books, so I thought, why not, you know, try it. So this is basically about these 2 women, I think, Kate and Tully, and they meet in 1974 and they become best friends, and it's basically about their life and their friendship that defines their life. And it's in a way, it says it's a story of all women, of who we are and what we care about and how much friendship matters. I am sure this book's gonna make me sob, even though it's about 2 friends, because her writing, I don't know what it is about her writing. By the end of all of her books that I've read, I am like literally sobbing. That never happens to me while reading. Like, that's happened twice with her books. So this might be the 3rd one where I'm sobbing by the end. Who knows? It's a lengthy one, as most of her books are. This one I think is, oh, it's only like, it's like almost like 500 pages. So either way, excited to read it, and kind of scared too because I'm probably going to cry a lot, but here's to cry. Either way, those are all the books I'm reading. No fantasy this month because I read like 4 or 5 fantasy books last month, and I'm like, so summertime, I just want to read kind of lighter and, I don't know, other things. Also, the Booktubeathon is happening at the very, very end of this month, so we'll see how that plays into my TBR, who I may have an amazing reading month and read all of these even before the Booktubeathon starts, or I may have not read any of them. I don't know, but either way, I will try. I always try for Booktubeathon to work my TBR that I already have set, like this video, into the Booktubeathon, but like I said, it's the very, very end of this month, so we'll just have to see when the time comes what my TBR is looking at. I'm gonna really try to work with what I have on my shelves, at least for the Booktubeathon. So yeah, I'm really trying to like get my TBR shelf down like I need to. If you have read any of these books, or if you're planning to read them, I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions, as always, because I really trust your guys' opinions and really take them to heart. So please let me know. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe. You can hit the little bell for notifications for when I release new videos every single week, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.